Welcome to another edition of Park Talk Podcast, the official podcast of the Naperville Park District. Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the State of the Park District podcast, where we will explore the 2025 goals that move the district forward. Joining me for this conversation are Executive Director Brad Wilson and Director of Planning Eric Schutz. Thank you both for being here.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Each year, the Park District takes on an ambitious roster of goals to accomplish. We introduced some of those goals in episode 1 in the introduction, and I'd like to further explore some of our 2025 plans with both of you. In addition to the list of capital projects that are planned for 2025, Eric, you're leading the charge with many of this year's goals. And let's start with the revamping of the district's ADA transition plan. Can you explain what this is, how and why the district plans to take a look at it this year?
Absolutely. So in 1992, the Naperville Park District developed a transition plan in accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, which is known as the ADA. Mm-hmm. So the main purpose of the ADA transition plan is to ensure that we're removing barriers within our park system, as well as looking at our facilities and recreational amenities to ensure that they are accessible for those with disabilities per the ADA.
Okay.
And so we last updated the ADA transition plan in 2014. And last year we discussed the benefits and the importance of updating the ADA transition plan this year as a major organizational initiative in 2025. One of the most important aspects of this initiative is community input. And so we're going to have a variety of ways that residents are going to be able to provide input in this process, including public open house events, community surveys, which will be online, as well as partnering with our Western DuPage Special Rec Association, known as WDSRA. We're a member of that organization, and they're a great partner, and also looking at other local organizations. So those who have an interest in this very important initiative for the Naperville Park District can follow us on our website, as well as there will be information kind of pushed through our social media channels. So Again, as I mentioned, a very important initiative, and we look forward to working with the community on it.
And I would imagine, too, just like any other type of plan, things are going to change over time. Things are going to change with the organization. I would imagine that certain aspects of the ADA change over time, too, and that's why it's a good idea to take a look at this again.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's what we're seeing. And it's really great because working with the various levels of government, with the federal, state, and local, there's always improvements to be made. And we're always looking to enhance, improve our parks and facilities. So with these new standards in place, it gives us the ability to make those adjustments so we're truly being accessible for the community.
That makes sense. So the Naperville Park District is a big organization. We're far-reaching. We have over 2,400 acres under our jurisdiction. And later this year, the district's inventory of parks will expand through the addition of 2 new parks, bringing our total number to 140, which is pretty incredible. Which parks are being added, and what can residents expect to see at these 2 new locations?
Yes, in conjunction with development of the Polo Club subdivision, which is located in the northeastern corner area of Route 59 in 119th Street, so this is in southern Naperville, there will be new public spaces for new parks of Polo Club Park and Fairlane Farms Park. And this will be donated by the Pulte Home Company in accordance with the City of Naperville's Land Cash Dedication Ordinance. So years ago, in various podcasts and updates, we talked about how important this ordinance is to the Naperville Park District. And essentially, when there's new residential developments, either land or cash is donated to the Naperville Park District. And in order for us to provide recreational amenities for new residents. Just like our existing residents enjoy that high standard of recreational amenities and facilities, new residents will also have that ability through the Land Cash Dedication Ordinance. So the centralized Polo Club Park at the Polo Club subdivision will be approximately 2 acres. It will include a playground, ADA accessible pathways, site furnishings, and landscaping, whereas our second park at the site will measure approximately 6 acres. And that will include 2 natural turf multi-purpose fields, as well as 2 off-street parking lots. The land is anticipated to be conveyed and transferred to the Naperville Park District. And the improvements of the new parks, they're anticipated to be completed by the end of this year, which is really exciting.
Okay.
So to your point, Sam, this will be with Polo Club Park and Fairlane Farms Park, our 139th and 140th park for the Naperville Park District, which we plan on bringing online later this year.
And we get to celebrate again.
Absolutely.
As one of the ribbon cuttings, which we talked about in another episode. And that's an important thing that we do for the community. One thing I want to mention, you mentioned Fairlane Farms Park. We actually did a podcast, I believe it was at the end of 2023, because there's some interesting history and background on that. So if listeners are interested in learning about more of that, they can go to our Park District podcast and check out that episode. So switching gears a little bit, national accreditation is something that the district has focused on since 2011. Brad, what is significant about 2025 in our accreditation?
Well, 2025, this accreditation, this will be actually the fourth time that the Park District has gone through either the accreditation or the reaccreditation process. And some of those who are listening may wonder, well, what's important about being accredited? What does it really mean for residents and for the organizations? And some of those benefits of accreditation for our residents, it helps to validate that the Park District is well administered, that we are providing services that are in accord with approved professional practices, that we have an external recognition of the quality of the government services that we are providing, that we have actually a third party is coming in and really reviewing our policies, our practices, how we perform as an organization to help with validating just the overall level of services that we're providing. It holds the agency accountable to the public and ensures responsiveness to meet the various needs in the community, and improves the quality of services that are ultimately provided by the district. Benefits of accreditation for the agency, really it recognizes the agency performing at a high level. It increases efficiency and evidence of our overall accountability in a number of different areas. It serves as an extensive self-evaluation and really answers the question of how are we doing? And it enhances the overall staff teamwork and pride by engaging staff in the process. This is something that encompasses all different departments of the organization. Staff throughout the organization need to come together to be able to gather the materials and the evidence to be able to demonstrate just that we are performing at that high level. So it's a great way to do that. And it creates an environment for regular review of our operations, where every few years we're looking back and ensuring that we're continuing to meet these various standards and perform the way that we should be. In addition to the Park District overall being accredited, we also have our Park Police Department, who are accredited through the Illinois Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. They were actually the first Park District Police Department to be accredited through the state in 2023, and they're also going to be preparing to work through the reaccreditation process there.
So a lot of those kinds of activities going on in 2025.
A lot of those activities, yeah.
Yeah. And I would say, too, just from a staff perspective, a director perspective, I think that going through accreditation it's a best practice. And like you said, all the benefits that come along with that. I think it also lets staff know that, we're really invested in the success of the organization. And I think by virtue of that fact, staff also feels invested because we are laying out these things are important to us. And there's a certain sense of, well, I feel like I know where the direction of the organization, I know what my department's supposed to be doing. So there's a lot of peace of mind in that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
In late 2024, the district introduced the Inclusivity and Engagement Team, which is an internal staff-led group. Brad, can you talk about the importance of this and the purpose of the team going forward?
Sure. We're excited about this team. It was formed in 2024 and really is comprised of staff throughout the organization. Many different departments are represented and many different positions within the organization are part of that team. And really it was developed to identify ways to increase the Park District's visibility and outreach in the community and really to enhance the district as an overall welcoming organization. There's a number of initiatives that the team has identified and is going to be working on in 2025, including increasing our training on inclusivity and customer service throughout the organization and really developing a district-wide training plan for that. Reviewing existing Park District programs and events through utilizing National Recreation and Park Association materials and resources that are available, which there are quite a few of, as well as enhancing the district's district-wide communication to staff on inclusivity and engagement type topics. Again, from the top down throughout all aspects of what we do.
Sure.
We'll also be working on increasing Park District participation in community cultural events and workshops that take place during the course of the year. And then a big one for us will be engaging with a number of cultural community groups to really understand what are their interests and needs for recreation in Naperville, and how can the Park District best meet those needs.
And we do a lot of that. I feel like as an agency, we do a really good job just in general engaging the community, asking the questions, going out to various groups, and just making sure that what we're doing is in alignment with what the community wants.
It is a core to what we do in all aspects of needing to and wanting to understand what are the community's thoughts and ideas associated with whether it's the programs and events we provide, the facilities, the programs, the parks that are available to the community. The communication and the feedback from the community is so important and highly valued.
So, Eric, the community continues to tell us to take care of what we have. Not only have we heard this in survey feedback, but also in focus groups conducted in 2024. Projects like the Nike Sports Complex Master Plan really speak to this care and maintenance perspective. What does this master plan entail, and how will it impact this location and ultimately the community and what we provide at that facility?
Yes, so we had the opportunity in 2024 to conduct a site master plan of not only existing recreational amenities at Nike Sports Complex, but maybe any new amenities, and what we've been hearing for years from patrons about how we can improve that site. And so part of that process, it involved extensive community outreach. We had the opportunity to meet with residents on site at Nike Sports Complex last summer in multiple occasions, as well as conduct online surveys to form the site master plan. And some of the amenities I'd like to share today that were identified in that plan was new native planting areas with interpretive signage. As we know, our core value of environmental education, stewardship, and sustainability, this is directly in line with that. We'd like to educate the public about our environmental initiatives. A challenge course. That's something we heard over the years, and when the opening of Wolf's Crossing Community Park in 2021, how important and exciting this new amenity was for not only children, but their families.
Very loved amenity at Wolf's Crossing. Yeah.
And so this way we can bring something like that north
That's
at
cool.
Nike Sports Complex, converting the existing infields to synthetic turf fields of the ball fields 1, 2, and 3 at Nike Sports Complex. Also a new asphalt loop trail. As we hear time and time again, our community input and our interest and opinion surveys is the top outdoor recreational amenity is walking and biking trails. And so we can add more of that at Nike Sports Complex and a renovation of the existing playground, as well as new water play features. And again, going back to like the challenge course, we added splash pads at the 95th Street Community Plaza,
Right.
at Frontier Sports Complex in 2020, and then also at the Wolf's Crossing Community Park in 2022. Again, it's really nice to bring those water play features to the north side of town, as well as a new picnic shelter overlooking the existing cricket pitch area. We heard over the years for patrons who utilize that area and play cricket matches, it'd be great to have more shade in sitting areas, and so that can all be accommodated. So going back to your point, Sam, like taking care of what we have and
Right.
care and maintenance, we're not only looking at our existing recreational amenities, but looking ahead in the future and what new amenities we need to either expand or provide to the community. Also, a really important aspect and to mention is the Naperville Little League Baseball plans to contribute $200,000 to support 2 ball field improvements, including new synthetic turf infields. The new synthetic turf infields will provide a more consistent playing surface, and especially after large-scale rain events, but also it's much easier for our staff to maintain. The Park District is in the process of considering and pursuing all possible opportunities of funding as well as grants to move this project along as quickly as possible. The implementation of the new improvements are expected to expand recreational opportunities and offerings for our residents, and not only looking at active recreation, but also passive recreation. And it's just so important that we can bring these amenities to this area in Naperville.
That's excellent. And I look at Nike Sports Complex, and it's always busy. It's already such a great place. So to think about these new amenities coming, that's just incredible. And what a great thing for the community to anticipate. One major goal we haven't yet addressed is the indoor recreation space master plan. And this is an initiative so significant that it began as a goal to develop it in 2024, with 2025 being the very beginning of implementation. We are exploring this particular project much more in episode 6, as you both know. But can you provide a bit of a teaser to pique our listeners' curiosity about what this is all about?
Sure. And you mentioned 2024 and it carries into 2025. This is actually an initiative that started in 2023 when we began really putting this together and beginning to work on the project. But it's an extremely important project for the district and for the community. For the district to really understand what the community needs are for indoor recreation space and how we address that moving forward. The goal of the indoor recreation space needs assessment that was conducted last year was really to develop a detailed plan based on community need and support for further indoor recreation amenities. As I've mentioned in previous podcast episodes, we've seen a tremendous amount of interest and increase in participation and use of Park District facilities.
Right.
Especially as we look back at the years of 2022, 2023, and even most recently 2024. The last 2 years, we've seen record participation in many of our programs, at many of our facilities and events. And what that has led to is challenges with meeting all of the needs and the interest in the community for participation.
Right.
So we have large wait lists in programs such as youth basketball, gymnastics. Our open gyms fill to capacity, a lot of interest in group fitness. So
it's a good problem to have, but something needs to be done about it.
It's a very good problem to have, but with the limited space that we do have, we just don't have that ability to accommodate all of those who are interested in those activities. So this study really looked at our existing facilities. Are there things that we can do with our existing facilities to increase efficiencies? And then also gathered extensive community input on indoor recreation space and the potential support to develop more space in the future. And so ultimately, the report provided a number of recommendations and a number of areas that we're going to be working on this year to really identify how do we address indoor recreation space, not only now, but into the future.
Wow, that's meaty in and of itself. And then you talk about like the ADA transition plan, the strategic plan, and all these other things the district's going to be working on this year. And it's a lot of operational type initiatives that we're going to be working on.
It is, but they are so important for helping to set that direction and helping both staff and the Board of Commissioners in making those big, important decisions as to which direction do we take as an organization to be able to meet the needs and the interests of the community.
Right, really provide that roadmap for us. Yeah. It seems we're all gearing up for a very dynamic 2025 that will influence the future of the Park District in many different ways. Thank you, Brad and Eric, for joining me, and we'll pick up our indoor recreation space conversation in episode 6 of this podcast series. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. The Naperville Park District's mission is to provide park and recreation experiences that promote healthy lives, healthy minds, and a healthy community. Park Talk Podcast is a production of the Naperville Park District.